Although we have seen a plunge in price of Sol over the last 30 days by 50%, cut from $100 all the way down to that $50 range, we are seeing Solana Summer kicking off really strong. I think because a lot of investors are moving over from Ethereum onto the Solana blockchain. And this crunch on crypto prices is forcing people to make tough decisions in terms of choosing lower risk investments that are lower US dollar value in total. And that's, I think, what is driving this move to the Solana ecosystem. And I want to go over some market charts to prove that point. And then I'm going to give you some NFTs that are minting in the next couple days here that are hyped, that you should consider and do your own research and check out if you have a chance. So let's dive into the Solana NFT market update. As we can see, as I mentioned, Solana value has dropped from that $100 range down to the $50 range over the last 30 days. And despite this, we're seeing a total volume of Solana NFT sales growing, especially starting around April, late April, and here through May. So roughly in the last 2 to 3 weeks, we've seen this huge surge in terms of total volume, all the way up to earlier this week on the 15th. There was a total volume of 334,000 Sol in one day traded with NFTs, which is absolutely insane. And if we look at the total floor value, it's not just that there's more NFTs that are being traded, it's that the actual value of these NFTs is also going up. So if we look at the total floor value, you can see this trend going back from February. The total value of all the floors on NFTs listed is also going up. So this is a really good sign for the ecosystem as a whole. And I know there's a lot of despair in the market right now, but if you look at the numbers here, I think that there's a different picture that you could be looking at depending on your perspective. Also, I want to mention that the number of traders is staying pretty stable. We're seeing a lot of good increase in the number of traders, kind of fluctuating week to week. But overall, I think the market's in a pretty good position, all things considered, especially that Sol price. So let's dive into some NFTs that are coming up that I have my eye on. Obviously, do your own research and decide if these are the right ones for you. Top on my list currently, you know I'm a sucker for these DeFi style investment NFTs. Back a couple months ago, I got in an Ivory Investors Club, and this one is kind of reminiscent of that. Pugging Awesome Investments NFT, and what they are doing is they are setting up an investment pool. They're going to be buying blue chips and they're going to be paying out passive income to the holders of their NFT collection. There's a whole white paper on their website, so be sure to read up if you're really curious about this collection. You're thinking about buying one. It's a collection of 5,555, and since last time I checked on this last week, they've grown quite a bit, so they're up to 15 or almost 16,000 followers now, which I think is pretty healthy. And this will be minting tomorrow on May 22nd. So I'm very excited about Pugging Awesome Investment NFT. Be sure to check that one out. Next one is Crypto Dinos. This one came up on the Magic Eden popularity list towards the top. It seems like a lot of people are favoriting it, but when I checked it out on Twitter, their following is pretty small, close to like the 7,000 or 8,000 range. But I am seeing people buying a lot of these in the pre-sale. There seems to be a lot of hype, people retweeting, they're waiting for their reveal to happen and so on. So that's pretty cool. They have a roadmap that's pretty basic. There's 4,044 of them. 4,444 of these NFTs, and they have plans for a baby dinosaur collection of 5,555 later. And that's pretty much, I think, the highlights from their roadmap, other than just building a community, which is pretty standard. And I did notice that currently, so their pre-sale has been live, I think, for a couple hours now, and there's about 4,200 of these remaining. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this one. Not so hyped, but I wanted to toss it out there because it was popping up on Magic Eden on the homepage. Next one is Bunnies and Homies Club. This one is much bigger than any of the previous collections that I've mentioned. It is minting on May 22nd, and they have 7,575, so 7,000 575 NFTs available. They have a utility token called Vibes, and what I really liked about this is their website is really nice. You can tell they have put a lot of time and attention into the artwork and the presentation on their website, which I think is very, very important. And they're really focusing on just being a vibe community, a community-driven project that is oriented around the artwork. And if they do have the passive utility token, but they're not really pushing that as the highlight of their collection. They're really just trying to build a strong community. And so this is potentially a pickup that you should look into. And as I mentioned, this one is absolutely massive with 90,000 followers on Twitter. So if you've gotten in on the whitelist on that, congrats. I do expect to see a run up on this. And yeah, super exciting to see another Solana art-driven, community-driven NFT project with such a huge following. I think we're going to see more and more of this in the near future. Next one I want to mention is called Kidz Tokyo. This one's minting on the 23rd of May, so on Monday. And this is a 6,500 collection. The artwork is sort of like anime related. And the reason I want to mention is they have almost 27,000 followers on Twitter. So again, good chance that there's a run up on this one. If you're on the whitelist, then congrats. And I don't know too much more about this project because they don't have a website. So at least not that I can find from their Twitter page, but there is a lot of momentum behind it. So it could be one, if you're into flipping NFTs, maybe take a look at that one. Last one I'm going to mention today is called Suteki, and this is minting on June 3rd, so a little later this week. And this one is another anime style PFP collection, but I think that they are really heavily focused on the artwork, and that strategy seems to be paying off because they do have 56,000 followers on Twitter currently, and they're still almost a week away, more than that, a week and a half away from their mint date. So it's going to be interesting to see how big this community gets. I would not be surprised if they can reach 100,000 followers by then. And hopefully they can get their website up and all this kind of stuff. So that is really the rundown on the NFT collections that are the most hype that I see up and coming on Magic Eden right now. And I just want to remind everybody, Solana is at a really good price. You never know what's going to happen with the price of it. But I think that the overall trend is that more people are moving into Solana for Solana Summer, and they're taking more calculated approach to which NFTs they're buying, or if they're just aping, it's really inexpensive to do that on Solana. And I think that's why more people are becoming more interested. So with that, thanks for checking this out, and I will see you in the next video.